debate is concluded. We have an amendment in the name of the Honourable Trevor Mallard. He's moved an amendment to omit the word now and add the words until a bill has been amended to remove clause 4 and insert a schedule of employment protections. The amendment is not in order. On a second reading, there must be an unequivocal decision reached. Either the principles of the bill are adopted or they are not. And I refer the member to Speaker's Rulings 103.5. An amendment that adds words, attaches conditions and leaves the House decision unclear is out of order. The question is, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I do want to discuss the ruling that you've just made with you, and I want to refer you to page 365 of McGee, Parliamentary Practice in New Zealand, and the section is on adverse or reasoned amendments. He says there, an amendment moved on the question of the second reading may put forward an abstract proposition relating to the bill, what is known as a reasoned amendment. The proposition will be unfavourable to the bill receiving its second reading that day, but it must offer an alternative to the second reading. It says an amendment declining to give a bill a second reading until certain amendments have been made to it and the money expended in other ways was accepted because it offered an alternative course of action to the second reading. What this does, sir, is give an alternative course of action. What it does is the alternative course of action, obviously, is the inclusion of an area of employment protection. So it satisfies that test, sir. I assure you that I have looked very carefully at standing orders and Speaker's rulings in this area. I have taken advice on it, and the advice that I have is not consistent with the ruling that you have given, sir. And I don't know if there's much more that I can say other than this is considered, it's reasoned, and it meets the McGee test set out on page 365, and that area of standing orders has not been changed.
In regards to the comment McGee 365, a reasoned amendment must offer an alternative to the second reading, that the issues contained in the bill be taken up in a different way or forum. The member's amendment simply offers alternatives for possible consideration in the committee if they are in fact in order. The opportunity for the member for his amendment can be dealt with in the Committee of the Whole, and I've ruled it out for those reasons. So I intend to put the question...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I do want to refer you to the very example in McGee where it indicates that certain amendments had been made and the money saved and expended other ways. That, sir, is something which could also have been dealt with in the committee stages of that legislation. It is, sir, the fact that it might be able to be dealt with that way is, at least according to the book of the previous Clerk of the House and based on the one example, the one precedent example that is given there, and my understanding is that goes to the Reserve Bank of New Zealand Amendment Bill back in 1939, sir. So the precedents are not new for this sort of change, and the advice I've received is that there has been no change in standing orders that would change that. So I just want to reiterate that while it might be an alternative to deal with this in committee, and I'm sure there will be discussions in committee on quite a large number of alternatives, the fact that it may be dealt with there does not, according to the example given, because money saved being expended in different ways is something that could also be dealt with very easily within the committee stages of a bill, a finance bill, a Reserve Bank bill, the obvious cases, as is the case now, sir. That is something which.
Yeah, well, I'm aware. I thank the member for those comments, and I have McGee open at the page, but I want to. My ruling is based on the fact that your amendment that you've put forward, it's differently framed to what you're referring to in McGee on 365. The member's amendment is entirely in terms of omitting a clause and inserting a schedule. Now that's outside. This is a very narrow bill. It's, in fact, the bill is only 4 clauses, so by doing what the member wants to do is foreign to the bill, and I've ruled it out on that basis. Can I refer the member also to McGee? Obviously you've got McGee there to page 364, because it says there on the second reading of a bill, members are asked to endorse a bill by giving it a second reading, but they may instead decide to defer a decision on it or decide definitively that it should not proceed. Deferral or defeat can also be effected by amending the question. The question for a second reading of a bill is open to amendment in a way that is relevant to one of these objects. So the member's bill does not ask for a deferral or for a defeat. An amendment which merely seeks to add words to the motion does not either of these things. Such an amendment would attach conditions to a second reading and leave the House's decision unclear. On that basis, I have ruled the amendment out. So, members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary will say no. The ayes have it. Party vote. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
41 votes opposed.
Green Party.
9 votes opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes in favour.
Maori Party.
Toko whai, tau toko ana.
Progressive.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Chris Carter. Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 68, the noes are 51. The motion is agreed to.
Employment Relations Film Production Work Amendment Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage